Hello.
Hello.
Today is June 16th, 2021. I am Jessica Taylor, and I am interviewing. Please say your name, sir.
Johan Castañeda.
Okay. For the Voces Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin. Please know that this recorded interview will be placed in the Nettie Lee Benson Latin American Collection at UT Austin, and it may be available online via YouTube or a similar platform. If there's anything you do not wish to answer or talk about, especially given that your recording may appear online, I will honor your wishes. Also, if there is something you want to talk about, please bring it up and we'll talk about it. And let me just go ahead and make sure I have the right one. Please know that this interview will be placed in the Special Collections and University Archives at Virginia Tech and shared with the Voces Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin. Because we are not conducting this interview in person, I need to record you consenting. So I'll ask you a series of 6 questions. Please say, yes, I agree, or no, I do not agree after each one. There are several questions we need to make sure you agree to before we go on. Special Collections and University Archives wishes to archive your interview along with any other photographs and other documentation at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech will retain copyright of the interview and any other materials you donate to Virginia Tech. Do you give Special Collections and University Archives consent to archive your interview and your materials at Virginia Tech?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. Do you grant Virginia Tech right, title, and interest in copyright over the interview and any materials you provide?
Yes, I agree.
Do you agree to allow Special Collections and University Archives to post this interview on the internet where it may be viewed by people around the world?
Yes, I agree.
Do you grant Virginia Tech consent to share your interview and your materials with the Voces Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin for inclusion in the Voces of a Pandemic Oral History mini project, which will include posting the interview on the internet?
Yes, I agree.
We have many questions in a pre-interview form that we have already filled out. We use that information from the pre-interview form to help in research. The entire form is kept in a secure Voces server at the University of Texas at Austin. Before Virginia Tech sends it to the Newman libraries, we would have stripped out any contact information for yourself or family members, so that will not be part of your public file. Your public file will only be accessible at the Newman libraries. Question 5. Do you wish for us to share the rest of your interview in your public file available to researchers at the Newman libraries?
Yes, I agree.
On occasion, Special Collections and University Archives and Voces receive requests from journalists who wish to contact our interview subjects. We only deal with legitimate news outlets. Do you give consent for us to share your phone numbers or emails with journalists?
No.
All right. So let's go ahead and get started with the questions. How did you first learn about COVID-19?
Well, I used to live in my country. I've been living here in Virginia since the 2018. And I still have contact with my family and friends back in my country. So then when all the situation with the pandemic started, the news started to show up all the things, the people who started going to the country with the illness. So that's how I started to hear about it. And also like newspapers and articles, internet.
And what was your initial reaction to hearing the news?
Well, I'm the kind of person who don't believe the first thing that I heard. And I basically just do my own research. I like to read other opinions and maybe share my opinion with other people to know more about it. So At first, I was kind of curious, and I wasn't sure if I believed it or not.
Okay, and when did you realize that it was going to be serious?
When I heard that someone I knew, he got the COVID, I was like, okay, this is serious.
What about that made you realize that it was serious?
Well, when I heard that he got the illness and he was a healthy person, and then he talked to us about it, he was like, this is serious. This is the first time that I've been dealing with these symptoms, with this situation. So please be careful. Like that make you like shock, and then you started to believe it. Like it forced you.
Where was that person located where they got
It
COVID?
was in Colombia.
Okay. And how were you communicating with that person?
Uh, well, he was a friend of my family, so they had a group on WhatsApp. When everything started, we created that group, and they were like, "If you need something, just let us know. We're here to help you." So he recorded some videos and he sent that to the group. That's how we noticed that he was really bad. He was really sick.
What other information about COVID was being discussed in through WhatsApp?
We also talk about like, well, they were kind of explaining how that happened. So the first story was about the bat and then the soup, and then other articles trying to find an explanation of what was going on. And then another person, I don't remember who was it, he sent a video trying to explain how the COVID affect your body and your health.
Okay, and you have family here in Virginia.
I live with my parents.
Okay, and then you have family in Colombia, right?
Yes.
And in France, you said?
Yes.
Okay. How has COVID affected your family?
Well, my granddad passed away because of the COVID. That was in August last year. And then also here, my mom lost her job because they couldn't handle all the situation. They were about to close the store, so they had to fire her. And also for a lot of my friends, they also lose their jobs, and also a bunch of people in their families, they die. So that's how that affected. And in my personal case, well, I'm a student, so I started to take classes online, which is not the same, and that kind of affect me, like in a professional way, and also like my mental health.
So there's a lot there. You said your grandfather got sick in August?
Yes.
Okay. Were you communicating with him at the time?
Yeah, I did. I remember the last time I talked to him, they were about to introduce a tube through his throat because he couldn't breathe. And that was the last time I talked to him.
Where was he located?
He was in Bogota, Colombia.
Okay. What did he say to you when you talked to him?
I guess he felt like really bad, but at the same time, it seems like he was strong enough. But he was confused, and then also, I don't know if that's something bad about my country or something. He was kind of trying to hide what was going on. We had a lot of problems with the medic staff, like doctors and nurses, because they're supposed to give you like a report every single day. And they sometimes they were like, oh, we don't have the report yet, and you're supposed to wait 24 hours more, and then we'll give you another report. So we didn't know what was going on with him. And then we contacted a lawyer because it was serious. Like, we didn't know anything about him. And then when we contacted the lawyer contacted the doctor, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna give you the serious report. Your relative is not behaving. He doesn't know, he doesn't want us to help him. And I was like, this is just weird, because he agreed with us to, to provide him everything, even with the tube, all that kind of stuff. He agreed. And then they were saying like he didn't behave. And then suddenly one day they were like, he just died. Sorry. So he was like shocking, we didn't know anything. We didn't believe that that was what happened. So it was hard.
I'm very sorry for your loss. And you said your friends also lost family members too. Was that in Colombia?
Yes.
Okay. Were the circumstances similar there?
Some of them, yeah. And they're still dealing with the situation because the government haven't provided enough vaccines. So they're still dealing with the illness. It's kind of bad.
How do people feel, how does your family feel about doctors and nurses and people in the medical community?
Well, the thing is, most of my family, they're nurses, doctors. So we're being kind of trying to help each other with that situation. That's why, even though almost my entire family, all of them got COVID, they were fine. My granddad was the only one who actually passed away. So I guess it was better because of their influence, not because doctors and nurses were professional, So this is really serious. A local journalist was actually doing a research, and he found that the government and international organizations were giving money for each dead person. So they started to say that doctors were killing people just because they're getting money for that. So yeah, it was really serious. We were scared. And even in my position, because I'm here, like, I mean, everything is different here, but you still feel like you need to do something, and you just can't. So it was bad, especially for my mom. I mean, was his dad, her dad at the end of the day. So
Absolutely. And what year are you at New River Community College, right?
yes, in the second year.
Okay. So how did COVID affect your ability to perform at school?
Well, I took some classes online, and some of them went well, but some of them were really unprofessional. I felt like I wasn't learning at all. I was just reading all those assignments and just doing all the stuff, but I wasn't actually learning something. And actually, there were kind of, I don't know. I mean, in some of my classes, they request us to buy a lot of books, and also, actually, I had to get a microscope for one of my classes. I just used it once, and I was like, I'm just basically throwing my money because I didn't use it. And it was the same with the books. I was like, this is bad. I need to go back to normal.
And you also mentioned that this has affected your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I mean, I consider myself to be a strong person. Like, I don't like things to affect me. and I'm always like the support for my family, for my friends. And when that situation happened to my granddad, my mom just changed. She's another person now. She's not gonna be the same, never. And that kind of affect me because I felt guilty. I was always trying to see the positive way, and maybe I subtract importance of the situation because I was like being positive. And I don't know if I didn't take it like seriously. And then when that happened, my mom just looked at me and I felt really bad. I was like, I'm so sorry. There's nothing I could do. I felt guilty. I don't know why.
Has this affected your relationship with your parents then?
A little bit with my mom, especially because part of my family, they're really religious, which is fine. But they were kind of trying to blame the fact that they were not religious to the fact that they got sick, and then suddenly my granddad just passed away. So basically, they were like, he died because he didn't believe, and I was like, how dare you say that to us? Like, that's just ridiculous. So my mom was kind of trying to be like, no, just be nice to them, just try to be understanding. I couldn't. So that affect my relationship to my family, and ergo also with my mom.
So your mother lost her position.
Yes.
How did that affect your family?
Well, economically, that affect us because I don't really know how they handle the economic thing among my parents, but I know for sure that she was helping us and also helping my family. Like she was sending money to my grandma and also with the rest of the family. So that affect us, and that also affect them. And even though my dad still has his job, we felt like the change.
What strategies did they use to help make up the difference?
We started to don't waste money, basically. We started to be like, if we don't really need this, then we can just wait until our situation change and then we can get it. But for now, we can just save money. We have to, because we didn't know, especially with my dad. I was like, what about if one day they decided that they're gonna fire my dad because of the pandemic or because another situation? So we have to, save money because who knows?
Just to clarify, what do your parents do for a living?
My dad works in a company. It's called Phoenix Packaging. I don't know if you heard about it. Yeah, he works there. And my mom used to work in a company who used to keep materials and machines and all that kind of stuff from Phoenix as well. So they basically had to close a big part of the company and they had to sell it or something. That's why my mom lost her job.
Okay. And are you working right now?
No.
Okay. Okay. You mentioned that your family is religious.
Mm-hmm.
Does the church or other organizations help your family either directly or through emotional support, things like that?
I think that helped them, especially because my mom was kind of trying to get an answer of what happened. She was kind of trying to feel better with herself. That's why she got involved more and more in the church. but they didn't help they didn't help them like with, if you need something, just let us know, we're gonna give you this money, we're gonna give you food if you need it. They didn't do that. No, it was more emotional.
What church is this that she goes to?
They belong, I don't really know how to, they're Christians, they're not Catholics. And I don't really know the name of the church or something. I just know that part of my family, they belong to that church, and they were trying to make my mom to be able to join them.
So your mother goes to church and your father does not.
Mm-hmm.
So your family basically made it themselves financially.
Yes.
Okay. In terms of travel to either Colombia or France or to see family, have you all been traveling over the last couple of years?
My parents, they went to Colombia like 3 or 4 months ago. I couldn't travel because I was studying, and then I had like personal situations, so I couldn't. They went back. That was the first time since all the situation with my granddad happened. And my mom went just to be with the family. And also it was like a relief for her, the way to say goodbye. And well,
So she couldn't be there for the funeral.
she couldn't, it was impossible.
In terms of healthcare in the United States, do your parents go to the doctor regularly during COVID?
No,
Not at all.
no, not at all.
Is that normal during non-COVID times?
No, really. When I was in my country, I used to go to the doctor like every 6 months or something. But since I've been living here, and then also with the pandemic, prices are not something that we can afford. So we try to don't go to the doctor if we don't really need to go, you know.
Is that the same for mental health?
Yes. And but the thing is, I guess we're being handling that situation since some of my friends, they're psychologists, and they've been trying to help us with that. So that's a relief.
That's great. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So as far as the vaccine goes, how do you and your parents feel about it?
I was kind of scared at first because, you know, the media, they started to do the same as the first of the pandemic. So they were like, they're gonna put a chip on you, they're gonna manipulate your DNA and all that kind of stuff. So I did my research again, and then in the school they actually wanted us to study more about the subject, and they kind of explain us how the vaccine worked. And that's how we took the decision. We made the decision to get the vaccine. My dad was the first one.
What was registering like for you all?
For my dad, I guess it was Moderna. He got Moderna, and then we got Pfizer.
So no problems registering. Where did you end up getting it?
We have it like, I don't remember, that was April or something. And we had it because here in Blacksburg, they organized like a special day for Latin people. So I didn't do an appointment or something. We just came to the place, and We filled out all the papers, and then we got the first shot.
That's great. And how did you hear about it?
I'm in a lot of different groups, so they just shared information, and that's how I heard about it. It was really handy, and also I shared the information with the people I knew, and it was great. That was really fast.
That's wonderful. That's amazing.
Mhm.
So your parents were okay with the vaccine?
Yes.
Okay. Any after effects or anything like that?
Not on me and not on my mom, but my dad. He got fever and he got chills. He felt really bad that day, but that was the only thing. And I guess it's because, I don't know, man, he got Moderna, we had Pfizer, so maybe because it was different side effects as well.
Absolutely. So now that you have the vaccine, do you all have plans to travel or things that you expect will change in the coming months?
I just expect to back to in-person classes. That's something I really need and I really want. I'm not planning to travel, maybe for the end of the year, maybe for holidays, I don't know yet. But for now, the principal thing is my college.
And just to clarify, what's your major and what are you going to do after college?
I'm planning to transfer to tech, and I'm studying liberal arts for now.
Cool, that's awesome.
Mhm.
So no clear sense of like what you want to do after college.
Not really, not yet. I just like languages. Kind of want to be a polyglot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mhm.
All right. So in terms of politics, during the last couple of years, there have been a lot of changes and a lot of social movements. How do you think politics affected how COVID was handled?
Um, I guess that it affected well, the ex-president was kind of more focused on his campaign than in solve the situation with the people. So he was the first person who said that he didn't believe that it was real. So that kind of changed the perspective on some people and the way they handle the situation. And also, well, for instance, here, some people, they refuse to wear masks. And that was a way to like some people got sick because of that, because others were like careless about it. So that's how that affected, I guess.
Absolutely. Do you have a sense of how it changed things locally? Like, do you have specific memories of people talking about politics or not wearing their masks around you, for example, things like that?
Yeah, but not just here in Blacksburg. I guess here was really like different than other places. For instance, my mom used to work in Pulaski, and things there were really different, since most of them were like Republicans, and they basically believed that it was fake, and that place was full of people that refused wearing masks. And I guess here, maybe because Virginia Tech, or maybe because here, like young people, they're must, maybe things were different.
Did your mother work in Pulaski for the most of COVID, like at least the beginning of COVID?
The beginning, yes.
Okay. What was that like for her to be in Pulaski during that time?
Uh, I guess it was hard for her because she felt unsafe since the rest of the people, they were like, you know, so she felt that she was exposed, even though she was wearing like two masks. She was wearing gloves, and I don't know if that's useless or actually works. I don't know, but she was doing it just because she wanted to be safe.
Do you have a sense of how Virginia politics may have affected COVID and regulations and your family's experience?
There's a website, and they used to give the numbers of the people that got the virus and also how many people died. And I was checking that website all the time. I downloaded another app. They give you the local news, and that's how I was like into all the situation here in Virginia, at least.
Great. So you also, there have been social movements over the last couple years. Have you been involved in any of those?
Not really, not here. I guess I got enough with my own country. I was involved with that, but not here.
Are you still involved in that?
Yes.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, since the pandemic, the government started to make a move to keep people safe in their houses. That kind of actually worked, like at least at the beginning of the pandemic. But then people started to complain because of the lack of opportunities. They lost their jobs, and the government was not giving or providing enough benefits to the people. They didn't get paid for nothing. They didn't receive food. People, they were basically dying because of the COVID, and also because they were hungry, basically. So they started to kill each other, and there started to be chaotic. And then after that, the government decided to reopen again, even though we don't have enough vaccines. And they said that because they were covering like health and also food and mask and all that kind of stuff. We had a doubt. Yeah, like we have like a fees. We call that deuda fiscal, which means that we need to pay a lot of money to the state, and they give us like a lot of taxes, and people disagree. They got mad, and they started to march. We are in a national strike right now, and I've been kind of supporting my friends and family there. We actually march here in the Virginia Tech campus, and that's the way I've been trying to raise my voice.
Has COVID affected your ability to do that?
I think yes, because some people, they didn't want it to get exposed, and it's natural. You're not gonna get sick just because you want things to change. Some people think that that's not the right way to do it. So they were like, okay, I'm support you, but I'm not gonna get exposed. I'm gonna be in my home because we're in the middle of the pandemic. So yeah.
In terms of American or United States social movements, do you have any thoughts on Black Lives Matter or the election or the January 6th thing that happened?
Yeah.
Like that?
Well, I guess racist is something that the entire world deal with, not just here. It's, of course, it's something that make you think and make you like feel that things has to change, especially with the police, and also with those population that are being they just raise importance to them. I've been actually doing research for school, of course, about that and about other kind of groups, especially girls, indigenous people, Black people. So yeah, it's something that moves my thoughts.
Moving forward, what are your perspectives on going back out and not wearing masks and everything that's going on currently in summer 2021?
Well, I'm still wearing my mask. I don't know if it's because I don't know. I think I feel safer, but I'm okay with people around if they don't wear a mask. It's fine. I feel like I'm the weirdest because when you're wearing a mask, I guess people might think that you refuse to have the vaccine or maybe you're sick or something. So they're like, yes, but I'm fine. I mean,
Are you all planning get-togethers, like either with friends or with family, anything like that?
mhm.
What are you all gonna do?
Well, I'm getting married. I'm gonna get married on Saturday, so that's gonna be like the first thing that I'm gonna do after the pandemic. It's gonna be like, a lot of people in that commuted space.
Wow, tell me about planning a wedding during COVID.
Well, I think that haven't affected like too much the way I've been planning my stuff because we just got an idea and we've been just working on that. And so it's not something that make us change our plans or something. So it's fine.
Do you have family coming in from out of town or anything like that?
No, just my parents and friends, basically.
Awesome. That's
Mhm.
great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with me about your experience with COVID that I haven't asked about? Any stories or opinions?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay.